Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media. What a day today. Great lineup as always. And starting us off with the Girl Scouts San Diego, Perette Godwin, Power Her Promise co-chair, a troop leader. She's the City of San Diego Communications Program Coordinator, and add about 45 more titles, and I guarantee you Perette has done it. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. Thanks for having us here.
It's very, very exciting. And joining us is my colleague and longtime friend and very frequent co-host is Neville Villamoria. He's the board member of Girl Scouts San Diego, marketing and communications and community relations maven for Mission Fed Credit Union, and we're in the beautiful Mission Fed studio. Neville, always good to see you.
Good morning, good morning.
And as you always say, you are a thinly minted...
That's right. I'm a thinly minted board member, that's right.
When did you join the board?
Just recently, this year. So I'm a newbie.
You're a newbie, okay. And did Perette tell you it's a 15-year obligation?
Not yet. But
okay,
I guess I'll find
good.
out.
That's
right
after
now.
the blood initiation, I think, on this. Perette, how long you been with involved with the Girl Scouts?
Well, now I might be aging myself a bit, but about 11 years.
Okay, good. What got you into it?
Well, my daughter did, actually. I have always loved what Girl Scouts represents, and as my daughter got into elementary school, I said, you know what, we gotta go down that path and explore it, and that's what Girl Scouts really is about: is exploring and finding out, letting these girls find out who they are as female leaders.
Right now, San Diego, Girl Scouts is one of 111 councils in the U.S., and is it one of the larger ones? Is it where in the mix is it?
It is one of the larger ones. It is one of the probably larger, more organized ones, I'll say.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Neville, in your family, the kids, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, in any of that aspect?
I was actually a Cub Scout in India many moons ago, yeah.
In India?
Yep.
I'll be a son of a gun. How different is it there than it is here, or maybe not?
Well, I don't have as much to compare in terms of the scouting piece. My son was a scout for a little while, so I have a little bit of that experience.
Right.
But I think all the principles, back to the mission is aligned, the building of character and competence is aligned. Helping people find their voice and find their place as a leader is aligned. So
yeah, and the word leader and leadership is always thrown around, and everyone and so forth. But we know leaders come from anywhere and everywhere, and no matter what the background, the beauty of Girl Scouts is we don't care where you come from. You're going to have those leadership skills in that aspect of it. San Diego Girl Scouts, 105 years old, if I'm doing the math right.
Yes. Very much so.
Yeah, that's it. Really is remarkable. How many? I should say, I won't say families. Girl Scouts are there currently in Girl Scouts San Diego?
We have approximately 15,000 girls throughout the San Diego and Imperial counties who are involved in Girl Scouts. So it's a big bunch of girls.
And usually when someone joins, do their siblings join too, or it really just depends?
It really just depends. A lot of times, yes, we have families that come into it together, and then as folks start to, and I should say girls start to feel themselves out and experience life, they may do something else. But yes, a lot of times we do have families as a whole who will come in together. Those girls will come in.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, in one troop that I know, they have triplets, or I shouldn't say triplets, twins and a sister that are all Girl Scouts.
That's right, yeah, in the family. And, I was just at an event. I was looking for you at this event, but I didn't see you. It was on the Midway, where the Scouts recognized Jerry Sanders. Did you go to that?
That one I missed.
Okay, it was phenomenal. And, of course, they talked about the girls who are in the Boy Scouts, right? And it's sort of a new revelation. It was fascinating. And Jerry got an award, and, it was very interesting. I was really interested to hear that. When did that transition happen?
Now, I'm not familiar with the transition there because that is the Boy Scouts has now become Scouts, so it's a little bit different.
Exactly right.
We're still, 105 years going strong as strictly or primarily girls only.
Sure.
So it's a little bit different, but yet they have, as Neville mentioned, similarities.
Right, without question. So I've been itching to ask this. What's Power Her Promise campaign?
Power Her Promise campaign is one of the missions of Girl Scouts is to help them, to find their place and to help make the world a better place. So it's kind of a play on words is we are empowering and asking others to help us empower these young girls so that they can power their promise or power her promise to make the world a better place.
Right, and I know, Neville, this oozes in Neville's DNA, as you know. Having people really find their place, their voice, and so forth. This must have just absolutely excited you to the nth degree, correct?
Well, it's a super important fundraising opportunity for San Diego, in large part because of all the supply chain issues with the cookies sales.
Right.
We all know about the Girl Scout cookies. What we don't know is how that cultivates and fosters all their social, emotional learning, their sales skills, and all that. But if there's no cookies to sell, it's pretty tough for them to, have that experience. So with the supply chain issues with COVID, this is really a critical time where we're reaching out and asking people to support this important mission.
Right. So how does one do that?
So can I back up just for a second?
Please.
One of the things that I do want to share is that 45% of local Girl Scouts now, they live in low to moderate income households.
Right.
And that's why Power Her Promise is so important as well, is we want to make sure that any girl that wants to be a Girl Scouts has that opportunity. So the way that people can support us is they can visit sdgirlscouts.org and they can make a donation.
Okay.
That's one. Or they can become like me, become a volunteer and help these girls to power their promise.
Now, do volunteers do a whole wide variety of things? Obviously, they certainly work with the different troops. I imagine they volunteer at events. You have a lot of events. Do they work as mentors at all?
That's what a Girl Scout leader or a Girl Scout volunteer becomes.
Okay.
They become mentors. Some of my friends have said that have had long-time troops, and 11 years for me is pretty long, but they will say that girls 20, 30 years later will come back and say, that was my Girl Scout leader, and this is what I learned from her. Now, does everyone have to become a leader? No. We need co-leaders. We need folks that are willing to go on trips with these girls, maybe go up to Julian where we have 2 properties and they can go camping, help, whatever it is that leaders or volunteers want to do. We've got a spot for volunteers.
Now, I hope I'm not getting this wrong here, but do you guys go up to San Pasqual where there was a battle up in that area? And there was some type of I want to say almost during Civil War or maybe right after that. And I thought it was a Girl Scout thing. I don't think it was a school thing. I could be wrong on that. Jane Tote was leading one of the troops. I could have sworn it was Girl Scouts, maybe not. And one of the people asked if this lady had been there during the Civil War, and said, "Well, sometimes it feels like that, but not quite in that area." How much when you are in as a Girl Scout family, you are in, correct?
Well, you know what? That's one of the other great things about Girl Scouts is you can decide whether you want to be in 100%,
Gotcha.
Or maybe you've got a Girl Scout who also loves soccer or softball or any other activity that they could do. You can still do those activities. You get to decide how much you want to be in. My daughter now is going into high school. And so, we may not do as many things as we used to do, but we just had a babysitter training where she, learned those tools of first aid, CPR, how to, if there's a problem, what do you do? So you get to decide that, the girls get to decide. And this really is an organization that is girl-led. When you talk about mentorship earlier,
right.
We're guiding them, we're mentoring them, but it really is girl-led. They get to decide what activities they want to do. They get to decide if they want to go on trips. Like we're planning on going to Orlando in the spring with a large group of girls because there's a huge Girl Scout convention happening. But, girls get to decide if they want to do that. Or maybe they want to go to Europe. We've got girls that have gone to Europe. Or maybe they want to backpack across the Sierras. Whatever they want to do, we'll help them get there.
No, that's terrific. I'm Drew Schlosberg, and you're listening to Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing great things to San Diego for more than 60 years. in the beautiful Mission Fed studios today with Perette Godwin, Power Her Promise co-chair and troop leader and communications maven for the city of San Diego, joined by Neville Villamoria, board member, newly thinly minted board member with the Girl Scouts, and marketing and community relations head for Mission Fed. Neville, listen, Mission Fed, as we've talked about, as long as you've been on my shows, which I want to say almost from the day you got here. How long has it been since you've been?
I've been at Mission Fed for 20 years now.
20 years. And you guys are involved in so many great things and meaningful things. I think they really just are the whole spirit of things like Girl Scouts and all that, because it's not checkbook philanthropy. They recoil when you mention checkbook philanthropy, because it's all about you folks getting involved in this. Are you now going to be at all these events, and you're going to be staffing them, and you're going to be leading troops and all that? Do you know how to do a slip knot?
I'm working on it. My first event, even before I made a board meeting, was the gold ceremony. So there's different tiers of accomplishments for these young women, and it was back to this point about strengths-based, and you pick what matters most to you. Some of the projects that they had worked on for their gold certification was just laudable, amazing, from climate issues to self-defense to pet care to self-care to, I was super, super impressed with how they had taken on this project, and at the pinnacle of this achievement demonstrated knowledge, courage, and super inspiring.
Yeah, I was going to ask, Perette, so is there a theme? Does the theme change each year with, Girl Scouts, depending on what the issue is? We have 450,000 issues in this world, to say the least. Climate change, unless you're living on the space station Mir, and I guarantee there's probably some impact on that as well, is huge and all that. Do you guys shift in different types of themes?
I would say not really. Because this is girl-led and there are so many things happening. You mentioned climate change. We know about homelessness. We know about certain women's issues, that whatever it is that the girl is interested in, and Neville mentioned the Gold Award, which is the highest award that a Girl Scout can achieve. These girls are doing all of that. So what they're working on when they're looking at their Gold Award is they're just working on what is happening in the world, whether it's locally, nationally, or whether it is internationally. They're working on life issues that are most important to them.
So I want to chat about this when we come back from break. You mentioned that 45% of the local Girl Scouts live in low to moderate income households. Let's talk a little bit. Are there scholarships available? Can people help in that area? And something that I've been doing the show for like 4 billion years, it seems, but in 2007, never ceases to amaze me how many kids in challenged neighborhoods and families have never been to fill in the blank, the mountains, never been to the beach, never been to Petco and all that. And I'm just always amazed that no one should ever lose sight of that. And you guys don't in that aspect. So when we come back, we're going to chat more with Perette Godwin. She is the Power Her Promise co-chair. The campaign ends today, so we're going to talk about how well it's done. She's a troop leader and also involved in the communications for the city of San Diego. Joined by my colleague, the inimitable Neville Villamoria, thinly minted board member for the Girl Scouts, and just a true community leader. When we return from this episode of Spotlight on the Community.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit. So we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. We are here in these beautiful studios of Mission Fed, listening to Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show. And we're just happy to be affiliated with Mission Fed. Been doing unbelievable things for our community and its members for more than 60 years. We're chatting with Perette Godwin, Power Her Promise co-chair, troop leader for the Girl Scouts, and communications for City of San Diego, joined by Neville Villamoria, marketing community relations senior VP for Mission Fed, and a brand new Girl Scouts member. So how did the campaign go?
The campaign is going very well, but we can still use more help to help, these incredible girls that we have, nearly 15,000 girls throughout, again, San Diego and Imperial counties. As you mentioned, the campaign ends today, so we're asking folks, even after the campaign ends, come on and join us as either a volunteer or to contribute to Girl Scouts.
Right, exactly. So how do we work with those, pretty nice sized percentage that may not have the means to become Girl Scouts? There's scholarships, and how does that work?
Well, that's the key thing with something like Power Her Promises. We are committed to make sure that any girl that wants to be a Girl Scouts has that opportunity. So say, for example, they can't, it's $25 is the membership fee every year. Now, some girls are able to pay for that through cookie sales once they've gotten on board.
Right.
But when you first start, for example, a new troop, they can get a stipend or a scholarship to pay for that $25 membership, or even for their uniforms. You'll see Girl Scouts in their cute little vests or skirts, etc. And that's something else that these funds help support.
Yeah, Neville was mentioning about, and you too, about the pandemic didn't do much for us on many things, for that matter. And one of them was supply chain issues and so forth. How much is it? A pretty big percentage the Girl Scout cookie sales have on the overall operation of Girl Scouts?
It is a very large percentage. I can't think what that number is off the top of my head, but Neville may or may not recall.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but it's substantial.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so that took a big chunk out of that, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why this campaign's so critical right now.
Right,
It's
right.
always, fundraising is always important. It's particularly important now, particularly if you're focused on equity and access.
Right.
We don't want any young lady to not have that opportunity. So.
Right. So, Neville, have you been a cookie mom / cookie dad yet?
I have not.
Good. Let me tell you how that experience is, because we did it. And the reason why I look like this, Perette, is because I like the Thin Mints too much. So when he mentioned that, I'm going, my goodness. So I'll always buy them and stuff and then finish them like in one sitting, and that's probably not a good thing to do. It's good for the Girl Scouts, so I'm not sure it's good for my body. But we had a garage full, as you well know. Perette's smiling. You can't see it through the internet here. You are totally in when you're a Girl Scout mom or dad. And that's fun, though,
It is fun. It is fun. And it's funny because one of the key things I think is when we talk about cookie sales a lot, of course, and
Right.
the number of cookies, but, we have 8,000 volunteers that do different things, including cookie sales or cookie support. I'll call it that, because I'm amazed even by the people who open their homes to us who need places to go pick up those cookies. And that's another key kind of volunteer position. But cookie sales is instrumental, but also is just the general community support that we get.
Yeah, one thing I was going to ask, you do not have to be a Girl Scout family to be a volunteer. It's not a requisite that, they're not going to need my support. No, they need your support, whether you have any connections to the Girl Scouts or not. I think that's real critical in that vein. Talk about, how important donations are. I always mention to people, you don't have to be Bill Gates. Not going to turn around, or I probably should use different people for that matter, maybe because Bill Gates maybe is not number one in the world at these things. You can't be a Neville Villamoria.
Oh, stop.
Yeah. Okay, right. But in all seriousness, there's no such thing as too small a donation, correct?
No. $10 is going to help us move the needle when it comes to helping the girls become who they are meant to be. The leaders of the future leaders of our country.
Right. Is there a waiting list of people that want to become Girl Scouts, but they just don't have the resources to do it, or there's never a waiting list?
There is a waiting list, and sometimes it's just because we don't have enough volunteers.
That's it. Okay.
You don't even have to be a parent, right? You can be. We have I shouldn't say former, but we have Girl Scouts who have been lifetime members who they may not have children. They still might be relatively young, out of college, and they're trying to still find their way, but they could be a leader. Grandparents are leaders. Anyone can be a volunteer, can be a leader, can help these girls become who they're meant to be.
So how important is this? And I'll ask Neville this question. We all know that, and I'm going to be on my little soapbox here, for example. If I worked for San Diego Unified for a while, and if we got rid of standardized tests, I would have no problem with that, effective immediately. But we looked at what the extracurricular activities the kids do when they come in. Did you volunteer? And when did you start volunteering? Neville, when you look at prospective employees, is that a critical element to look at? What have you done in the community? How do you support it? Because the Girl Scouts would be a perfect one to say, I know you volunteered.
Oh, totally. And I think whether you're looking at it through the lens of a prospective employee that you're hiring, or you're looking at it through the educational construct, co-curricular opportunities,
right?
We know that so much of learning happens outside of the classroom.
Right.
And so it's incumbent on us, if we're trying to foster a good civil society, to ensure that we afford every young person opportunities beyond the classroom. I mean, not all of us are going to be academic excellent folks. We all have strengths.
So why are you looking at me like that?
No, I wasn't. But all of us have gifts, skills, talents, passion, and deserve to find our purpose. You're probably going to find, the lion's share of us are not necessarily going to find it in a math class or a social science class or a biology class. That might be the means to an end to a particular career path. But who you are as a person is going to show up in these other places. You
were chatting with Neville Billamori, a thinly minted board member for Girl Scouts of San Diego, Senior VP of Marketing and Community Relations for Mission Fed. Joining him is his colleague, Perette Godwin, the Power Her Promise co-chair for the Girl Scouts, troop leader, and communications head for the city of San Diego. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. One of the things that hasn't come up in this conversation, but Neville knows almost every time he's on, I want to bring this up because it's really important. And I know this is important to you too, Perette. One of the great things that Girl Scouts do is let you be empathetic. It's something that has gone by the way of the dodo bird, I think, in this world, unfortunately. And talk about how important empathy is because of all the activities you folks do as Girl Scouts.
Well, I think that one of the things that we talk about with Girl Scouts is that we're helping these girls learn life skills, right? Business skills. And Neville touched upon it as well, is that those are the types of things that you're looking for when you look for employees as these girls get older. But empathy is key. And you're right, girls are learning this every single day. One of the things that a recent meeting that I was at is we were looking at ways that girls would support each other. And so, for example, if a girl had a type of disability, would her Girl Scout sister support her? And overall, these young girls are saying, yes, they are there to help and to assist because they have empathy for others.
Well, one of our guests are going to be on later on the show is from St. Paul Senior Services, and these folks are just stellar. And the Girl Scouts work in that space as well, do they not?
Well, they certainly do. I mean, we have some of our troops that are, whether it's supporting St. Paul's and organizations like it by going in and connecting and interacting with seniors, or maybe they're going into other centers. And we already have some of our troops talking about going to sing during the holidays, right? And do activities with seniors, or whether it's the Humane Society going and taking care of, learning how to take care of pets and to go in there and connect with the cats and connect with the dogs. And then there are even opportunities that we get through Mission Federal Credit Union where the kids are learning about accounts and how to save money, et cetera.
Well, Those are lifelong skills, and we were chatting offline about the passion that both Neville and I have, and I know you do too because of your very storied career in many areas. About talking about kids with relevant instruction. What a shock, right? About how to manage things, checkbooks, and all this actually is with you until you're not here anymore. And I really I'm sort of happy to see that the schools have been making that shift a lot with college and career pathways in this vein. We have a couple of minutes to go over here. Neville, what comments do you have?
Well, I just want to echo the financial literacy aspect of how that's a critical life skill, right? Many of us don't necessarily get a class in that, but it's so essential, particularly trying to live in San Diego with the challenges here. We have developed long before I joined the Girl Scouts board, through our partnership, which has been going on for more than 6 years, we developed this Girl Scout patch for financial literacy, so they could earn that and add that to their repertoire. So I wanted to note that how critical that is as a life skill.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Second is, I just wanted to echo your point about empathy.
Yeah.
Research is suggesting that's the number one leadership skill. And so social-emotional learning, empathy, communications, these are like clutch, and even more so in a divisive society.
We can't talk about it enough. We can't execute it enough. We can't applaud the efforts of people who are doing that. It doesn't know a D or an R or an I or a G. It's a human trait on that, and I think you're spot on. So, Perette, what can our listeners do to support your efforts and the Girl Scouts and all your colleagues?
What they can do is they can come to sdgirlscouts.org. Right? And they can either make a donation of monies, or they can make a donation sort of themselves. And by that, I mean they can support us in becoming a volunteer and joining this incredible organization, and which is, of course, training our girls to be the leaders of tomorrow.
Right, exactly. And that's such a critical aspect of it. So the Promise for Power Her Promise campaign, while it officially ends today, can you still make donations to it?
Of course,
okay.
Of course.
Right.
sdgirlscouts.org, and you will be powering her promise to make this world a better place.
Well, and I'm also proud to say in 2 weeks, we're going to have some of your colleagues in with a couple of Girl Scouts. They're going to be interviewed right here. I hope, Neville, you're going to swing by for that one as well. We're excited about that. And my former colleague was honored to be on the AVID board for 9 years. Michelle Mullen, who was one of the senior VPs there, is going to be coming on as well. So, Perette, it's so good to see your smiling face.
Good to see you.
Killing it as usual and great stuff. And Neville, you always enhance the program when you join me, and I really appreciate that.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show on Cloudcast Media here at the beautiful Mission Fed Credit Union Studios. And Mission Fed's been bringing great things to San Diego for more than 60 years.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.